Are you ready? Let's go.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Sports Dad, and I'm in the building. And you know we got a show for you tonight, and it's going down. It's going down. And it's going down. Hey, listen. I already told you if you will follow me on my Instagram, if you follow me on my Twitter, Facebook, or what have you, you already know who I got coming on the show tonight. I got Coach Scott Merchant, who's also a counselor, and he's going to lay it out there academically for us tonight. And you do not want to miss this. So make sure that you're sharing right now and let everybody know that Sports Dad is in the building with the information. All you actually need for your recruiting needs. So we're going to get into that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some other things too. But don't you go nowhere. Stay right there. We're going to get into everything right after this. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Listen, if you are a proud parent of an athlete or an athlete that has been tuned in and benefiting from the information, now is the time to let that be known by simply going to the web address below that's listed below. You can access my new merchandise. That's right. And you can actually be a part of the Sports Dad Club. Go ahead and head over to my Teespring account, take a look at the merchandise, and go ahead and make a nice purchase. We have different styles of shirts. We have t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, and hoodies in different colors. So go ahead and head over to my website and make a purchase and be proud that you are part of the Sports Dad Club. Another thing is that if you have been tuning into these live sessions and tuning into the YouTube channel and finding this information helpful with the interviews, the educational information, then you want to help me keep this going. I told you guys that the ultimate goal is to be able to financially compensate my guests that I'm bringing onto the show because their time is very important and they have been so kind enough to devote some of their time to us. And we all know that time is very important. So we definitely want to show a level of appreciation to our guests that we are bringing onto the show that's giving you these major nuggets. So it will be awesome if you guys could financially support. If you want to support this particular channel, make sure that you send all donations to the Sports Dad Cash App address, which is listed below. By doing so, this definitely also help us keep up the good quality of interviews and puts us in a great position to keep the information coming. So if you're enjoying this information, make sure you support. We definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to share the information and like and subscribe to the actual channel. And if you're in the live session, make sure that you come in with your questions and your comments because we definitely want to hear from you. Let's get back to the live session. Yo. So check it out. My special guest, Coach Scott Merchant. You know what? His coaching background speaks for itself. We already know what he's doing in that he run a definitely an elite program. And, that is definitely known around the state of Michigan. And so he's doing a fantabulous job with that him and his staff. And so but tonight we have him here from an academic standpoint. And he also has an extensive background with that as well. Let me see if I can get this straight. I believe he has he graduated with a bachelor's degree in history, and then he has a master's degree in athletic administration from Michigan State University. And then also too, he has another master's degree in school counseling from Detroit Mercy. Come on, man. It don't get no better than that. Coach, what's good with you, man?
What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
Not much, Coach. Thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. What's good?
Not much. I'm excited about this topic tonight. It's near and dear to my heart, and knowledge is power. So I want to get this academic information out to as many people as possible, so them and the parents and the kids can do what they need to do on the academic side of things to help themselves in recruiting.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right into it, Coach. For those of you that don't know, like I told you guys before, but not only is he a coach, but he's also a counselor, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And so we got all the information right now. And so let everybody know. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this information because it's going down. Coach, why don't you take us through an actual walkthrough on what that actually looked like from an academic standpoint, from the time a kid actually enters into their 9th grade year in high school?
Sure. I think one of the biggest misnomers out there is that, freshman year doesn't count. And
Right.
I think it's really important that parents and students are aware the minute you start that high school clock, every semester grade you get matters.
Right.
And so it's never early enough to start off strong academically. So, and in the big scheme of things, if you look at when signing day takes place in your senior year, your grades really through junior year are what are going to determine whether you can sign or not. So you're not really talking about your senior year making a difference. Really, all your senior year can do is probably hurt you. So in terms of signing that NLI, you've got 6 semesters to get that thing squared away. So, the NCAA talks about having 16 core courses that you must pass in certain subject areas in order to be eligible. I like to break it down into semesters because that's how our school year is broken down. So we'll translate that into 32 core semesters. Of those semesters, 8 of them have to be in English, 6 have to be in math, 4 have to be in science. Then you have to have an additional 2 in any of those 3 subjects, another 4 semesters in social sciences, and then you've got an additional 8 in any of those subjects. So we're only talking core subjects that count: math, English, science, social studies, and foreign language. No other subjects are considered core by the NCAA. So if you break it down, at Chippewa Valley, we're on semesters. We have 2 semesters a year. Our kids take 6 classes a semester, 6 times 4. Okay, that would take you to 24 credits. Okay, by the time you graduated. All right. Times that by 2, it takes you to 48 if you break it down by semesters. So of your 48 semesters in high school at Chippewa, 32 of those are going to be used by the NCAA. So a good 2/3 of your classes are going to count. So I think it's very, very important that people understand these types of things, because when, like right now, we're in the middle of getting ready to schedule kids for next year. So when kids that are potential NCAA athletes, and when I say potential, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It does not matter if you're a walk-on at the Division II level or you're a full scholarship player at the Division I level. You have to be cleared by the Eligibility Center, even if you want to walk on. So we're talking about a lot of kids. In terms of, what our curriculum is, we're fortunate in the state of Michigan. There's something called the Michigan Merit Curriculum. The state of Michigan tells us that our kids have to have, X number of years of math, science, English, social studies. So for the vast majority of the students in the state of Michigan, they're going to be taking enough core to be eligible, okay, just based on what the grad requirements are in this state. And that's a good thing, because it didn't used to be like that. So the biggest things are, you don't get credit for pluses and minuses. You don't get AP points, and any A is worth 4 points. Any B is worth 3. C is 2. A D is 1, and then an F, obviously, you get nothing for. So, where, you hear kids say, oh, well, I passed. Okay, well, passing is a D. Or, oh, well, I did okay. I got a C. That's average. Okay. The minimum core GPA to be eligible at the Division I level is a 2.3. So if you get straight C's through high school, you're not eligible. You're not eligible. You are not eligible. So I think that's something that our kids have to know and our parents have to know. This is something that they have to get off on the right foot. And if you don't, if you have a rough freshman year, it's not too late, but the numbers start to creep up on you. If you have a 2.0 at the end of your freshman year, you have to get a 3.0 your entire sophomore year to bring your GPA up to a 2.5. Okay. And I mean, that's a big difference there.
Wow. So like you really started off the conversation when you indicated that a lot of players believe that, or a lot of high schoolers, when they start, high school, they say, you know what, ninth grade, I got time to figure it out. Or for some reason, it just doesn't click with them right away academically in the ninth grade. What do you recommend, Coach, for parents and for, students who, mindset may not be, right away coming out the gate in the ninth grade, that it's all about academics and they think that they have time. What would help the mindset transform from that thinking, that thought process?
Well, I think being involved is important because, our job as coaches is to prepare our student athletes to be successful,
right,
on and off the field.
Right.
So, I know for a fact, our freshman football coaches, I mean, they're checking kids' grades 5 weeks into the first semester they're in high school.
Wow.
And if they're not doing well, then they either bring their grades up or they're going to have to sit. So I think, being involved in a program, whether it's football, soccer, whatever it is, volleyball, I think that's important because, not all parents, if this is your oldest child, you might not understand this process, right? Like you haven't gone through it. So that's part of our job as coaches as well. The other thing I would say is if your student has a bad freshman year, you have to take advantage of summer school before sophomore year. You really need to do that because, okay, fine. You weren't ready, you weren't mature enough, or you weren't dialed in academically, whatever. You had a transition issue. That happens all the time. But, you can replace those grades in summer school. So, for example, I failed global history. I need to make it up anyways. It's required. If I take it in summer school and I get a B, the F is removed from my grade point and the B now goes in. And I just, that's a double win for me right there. So don't wait till before your senior year to try to make up all these classes. In fact, the NCAA, they lock you in to 20 of your 32 semesters before once your senior year starts. They will not allow you to make up like 20 semesters in your senior year and take a bunch of online classes.
Wow.
So I would say, if you don't get off to a good start, it's okay, but definitely take advantage of summer school before your sophomore year to get yourself back on track. And then what we usually find is, as the guys go through our program or our other programs, they get acclimated to high school, and then they tend to start growing in maturity and academically, and they start doing better each year.
Right.
But, it's very important that, if parents have questions, they talk to their school's counselors. There are certain classes that are approved by the NCAA that anybody in the world can look at. It's not like, secret information.
Right.
You can go to the Ncaa Eligibility Center right now. You can type in Chippewa Valley High School, and you can look at all of our approved classes if you want to go in there and do that.
Wow, man, that's so. I like how you put it, Coach. So that it doesn't seem overwhelming. You kind of broke it down into semesters and things of that nature, and you really hit the point on what it really starts in the ninth grade. And you hit on it earlier too, that the NCAA is actually looking to qualify you academically by the time you become a junior. What exactly does that? What can you take a little deep dive into that and just break that down for us?
As far as the Eligibility Center and what it means to be approved?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know when this started. It's been around for a long time. It's had different names. It used to be the Clearinghouse. Now it's the Eligibility Center. But every Division I, 1AA, and 2 athlete in this country that's going to go play at an NCAA institution must be verified and approved through the NCAA Eligibility Center. So that's a process that I would highly recommend. Anybody who is in right now, who's a junior, if you think you might be going to a Division I or Division II school as a scholarship athlete or a walk-on, you should apply to the Eligibility Center in the spring of your junior year. Okay, what they will do then is the school will be notified. I'm the NCAA liaison for our school. I will get notification from the NCAA when you are registered, and I will have to upload your transcript for you.
Okay.
And then what they will then do is they will evaluate your transcript and they will post it in the Eligibility Center. And now colleges can go in and they can look up your information and they can see, is this student a likely eligible student? Are they possibly not going to qualify? Are they on the fence? And then once you submit a standardized test score, which the family or the student needs to do on their own, they will look at the sliding scale. And if you meet the requirements, the higher your GPA, the lower your standardized test score can be. The lower your GPA, the higher your test score has to be. And then at the end of your senior year, you're never officially cleared until you graduate from high school and we send in your final transcript that has your graduation date on it. And once they receive that, the college is then notified that, and then you're fully eligible and you're ready. You can go through full practice and accept your grant and aid and do all that stuff.
How soon should athletes register with the NCAA Eligibility Center?
They really don't want your information until towards until your 6th semester is up. So your junior year, they don't want transcripts until they've got that junior year. So that's why I say the spring of your junior year is the time to go.
Right.
It's not free. I think it's $90 to register on the Eligibility Center. So
right.
There's no reason to give that $90 up as a freshman or a sophomore. You might as well just wait. And then, if you're going to a Division III school who do not give athletic scholarships, you do not have to register with the Eligibility Center. So you have to also see a little bit where you're getting recruited from too. So if I'm getting recruited by Division I or Division II schools, then I'm probably going to register with the Eligibility Center. If only Division III schools are looking at me and I'm not looking to walk on anywhere higher, then I can save the $90 and I don't need to do that.
Wow. So far, what we have, just in a simple form is that don't waste any time. As soon as you get into high school, start right away, get ahead of the game, and knock that 9th grade year out of the water. Try to get a 3-point or higher to build more cushion for yourself, or whatnot, and basically and look to get high grades within your core classes.
100%.
Right.
It's always easier to maintain a good GPA than to try to dig yourself out of a hole where you have to do twice as well to bring yourself up to where you want to be. So yes, one thing that's really hard, I think, for young people is to ask for help.
Right.
I think that's hard. That's a humbling experience. So,
right.
Whether you need to go to after school tutoring, if we have kids that aren't doing well, Tuesdays and Thursdays normally when we're not in a pandemic, we have study hour after school.
Right.
We can go to that, and then they come to practice after they go to that. Talk to your teachers. Try, if you're not understanding concepts, don't just pretend you got it and you're good. Like, go and ask questions, get help. We have NHS tutors available. And when I say this is any school in the state of Michigan. Like the stuff I'm talking about isn't unique to Chippewa Valley.
Right.
There's plenty of resources available. Khan Academy is a great resource for free, online to all of our kids. So, you have to want to do it though.
Right.
That's the thing. Like everybody wants to play, everybody wants the scholarship, but there's a lot of kids that don't do the other pieces of the puzzle that are equally important. You could be the greatest player in the history of NCAA football, but if you don't have that minimum GPA and that qualifying test score, you cannot accept a scholarship, and you have to pay your own way to go to school. And we're talking tens of thousands of dollars to do that. The other thing I think is really important for kids to understand is, there's the Ncaa standards, which, they kind of look at the minimum sometimes and say, oh, I just got to get this.
Right.
But each college has their own admission standards that could be well above and beyond what the minimum requirements from the Ncaa are.
Right.
If you want to go to Notre Dame or you want to go to Stanford, when those coaches contact me, they can't talk to kids with below a 3.0.
Right.
There's three different things that people have to know. They have to know what the high school requirements are. They have to know what the NCAA requirements are, or if you're going to go NAIA, which, is a different organization. And, then they have to know what the individual requirements for the college that they want to go to are. So, it's confusing because those can be three completely different things.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So once again, you do 3-point or higher within your 9th grade year, stay on top of your core classes, try to get, an A or B to build that cushion, and take that same template and apply it through each grade, right? And each semester, each grade, all the way through high school. And you're setting yourself up for success. I feel if you achieve that. So now that's the grade aspect of it. And you kind of hit on a lot of things, Coach. Now let's talk about the standardized test piece of it. Okay. Because, so I got the grades, right. So now I'm looking to get a good score on my standardized test. And let's just face it, everybody don't test. Some people just don't test well.
Right.
And it's a lot of information, from over the years or whatnot, accumulation of different topics, and different concepts. But what is the best way for a kid to set themselves up for success, to be able to get a high score on the standardized test? And also talk about too, the higher your GPA is, right?
So when you're talking about grades and test scores, okay, what I like to say is you have much more control over your GPA, and that's about work ethic and consistency over 3-4 years,
right?
Versus a 3 or 4 hour standardized test, which
right.
You have little control over. Okay, so if I'm going to pick which one of those two I'm going to spend the majority of my time on, I'm going to try to raise that GPA as high as I possibly can, because that now makes that standardized test less important.
Right.
Okay? Now, if I want to do well on the test, which everybody does, how can I do that? Okay, first of all, this isn't a test that, we're going to give you information on and you're going to study it and you're going to know it. It's
right.
over, we're talking about multiple subjects over multiple years of high school.
Right.
So that's not what it is. This is just like a skill an athlete has to learn to do.
Right.
It's a test-taking skill. And how do we learn skills in sports? It's by practicing skills. It's the same thing with this test, okay? You have to take the test multiple times on your own, timed, just like it will be in an exam, because it's like saying I'm going to have a 5-hour practice.
Right.
That doesn't do you any good. If I'm going to take the test for unlimited time, you're missing that critical piece of timing during the test. So you have to condition yourself that I'm going to have to answer a question every 30 seconds, every 30 seconds. And, Khan Academy is a great free resource. I believe you can take either 5 or 7 free SATs online through Khan Academy.
Wow.
So, my daughter's a junior in high school. I make her sit down. I'm like, all right, you better book off 3 hours this weekend, and you're going to sit down and you're going to take a practice test. And then by the time they do that a number of times, plus with what they've learned in the classroom, now they have a much better idea of the format of the test, the types of questions that are being asked, how many answers are there every single question. And, little things like, all right, if there's 4 choices and you can get it down to 2, you should guess. You should guess at that situation. If you have no idea, then it's total number of correct answers. So you don't want to leave it blank. Statistically speaking, man, you either go B every time or you go C every time, because I'm just telling you, those are the numbers. But
Right.
things like that matter. I mean, like,
Right.
if you haven't taken the test or you haven't gone to a class, then, you don't know those things. And speaking of classes, I think one thing that bothers me a little bit as somebody in education is, I'll see parents spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on camps, bus tours, 7-on-7s, vacations. I mean, you name it. But at the end of the day, if you spend $1,000 to send your son on a bus tour and he can't accept a scholarship because he didn't get the test score he needed, he would have been better off staying home, going to summer school, or taking an SAT prep class so he could accept that scholarship. And I got no problem with bus tours, but
Right.
the point is like, again, you're spending your time and your money on the one skill, and you might be the best ever at it. But if you don't have the numbers academically or by the test, that doesn't matter. That does not matter. And for every 10th of a point your GPA goes up, you can have that many more schools recruiting you.
Wow. That was deep, Coach. And I think a lot of us, as parents are guilty of chasing the scholarship, or chasing the offer, going to the camps and, paying for, these different types of events that get kids in front of colleges and things of that nature. And we forget about, and we don't hold the academics to that same standard. So
I don't think there's anything wrong with sending your kids to those things, and I don't want to come off like that. But what you have to have is balance.
Right.
You have to have balance, because if the athletic piece is taken care of, but the academic isn't, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. And so I just think, sometimes, and I'm guilty too, we get caught up, and kids aren't going to want to take a summer school class. I get that. But you run out of time if you're trying to get this done before your senior year starts academically. And same thing with the test. In the state of Michigan, we give the SAT once a year for free, which is great because it gives access to every student in the state. But what happens if you have to take it over? Okay. And okay, maybe you have to take a test. You have to take a class to do better because you need to get a better test score. And then you have to turn around and you have to take that in August or September of your senior year. But, with signing day at D1 being December for football, there's not a lot of opportunities in your senior year to retake that SAT. You might have 2. You might be able to do September or November, but after that, everything's too late. It's after signing day. And what you don't want to do as a parent or as a student athlete is give a red flag to a college that you don't need to. Okay. You do not want to put question marks out there. And I mean, it's not just academics. You don't want to put question marks out there about your character because of what they see on your social media. Okay. You don't want to put character, you don't want to put question marks out there. If you're a guy who walks when you're not getting the ball on film, because they're going to see that. All those types of things, like those are things that you can control and you need to, because the recruiting process is difficult enough. You don't need to give colleges reasons not to recruit you.
Coach, how does, Coach Scott Merchant here with us, ladies and gentlemen, and giving us all this information. I see that we got 11 people in the chat right now, and that's watching this. Thank you for spending time with us. If you got questions or comments, make sure that you put that information in the actual comment, and we'll definitely acknowledge you and get your question answered. But make sure you share this information. If you're first time to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Coach, how does college coaches look at a player that is athletically gifted, but they also get it academically as well? How do they, what does that do in the mind of a college coach?
So when coaches come in and meet with me, and they come in my office, or right now, they call me, the first question they will ask is, who are your best players? And then the second question is, what are their grades? That is the second question that comes out of their mouth. And then if they're a good student, all right, check mark, that's great. That's awesome. We can work with that. If they're not, now we have to get into a whole conversation of, okay, well, why is he at where he's at academically? Is he doing poorly now, or did he have a bad freshman year? Is he on the way up? Is he on the way down? Does he not come to school? Does he care about school? Does he struggle in school? Does he have an IEP? Does he have a learning disability? So now it gets into a whole nother discussion.
Right.
If you've got the 3.0, boom, that's awesome. Okay, we're going to recruit that guy, coach. So, the vibe that comes off is super positive when I can say that, but the third thing that they're going to ask me about is character. Hey, coach, has this guy ever been in trouble? Is he a coachable kid? Is he been in trouble in school? Has he been in trouble out of school? Mm-hmm. And, the thing that's difficult about that question is I always want to support my own kids, but, I also can't lie to coaches, and I don't want to ruin it for the kids coming up after that. So, if I tell a coach, no, he's never been in trouble, he goes to college and gets in trouble, now I'm in trouble with that college, and they're not going to recruit anybody else from our school ever again. So, when we talk to our kids, we talk to them, this isn't just about you. Right. This is about the guys after you too.
Right.
And one thing I'm super proud of our kids is, I'd say 99% of our kids that have gone off to college have been, model citizens, and they've been successful student athletes. And, to me, like, that's the greatest compliment to our program. Those guys are doing well because they're great kids. Right. But, we all read the papers. We all see what happens. So, yeah, that's a slam dunk. When you've got that good GPA, and you've got the film, and you've got the measurables, now they're like, okay, well, I'm going to take this back to the position coach or the head coach, and, I like everything you're telling me. Hopefully we're going to sign off on them and offer them. The other thing I want to put out there is, besides Division I, really nobody else gives full rides. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the missing piece here about academics is, there is way more academic scholarship money than there is athletic scholarship money available. And I don't know about you, but if my daughter gets a full ride academically, I'm not going to turn it down because it's not athletics. I'm going to be the happiest guy in America because I'm not writing the checks for tuition.
Right.
So the other thing, besides, being recruitable, besides, being eligible, is, hey, you can earn academic scholarship money to pair with your athletic money, which could equal a full ride now.
You can. Absolutely. Yeah. So if kids and how that works is that through whatever college that they're actually applying for, they can go after those scholarships, those academic scholarships, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's called a merit. It's an academic merit scholarship. It's usually based on your GPA and your test score.
Right.
And, those can be stacked on top of your football money if you don't get a full ride.
Wow.
The other thing is even if you want to be a Division I preferred walk-on, you have to get yourself into school. So, I mean, they're not going to take you as a preferred walk-on if you're a 2.3 and you need a 3.0 to get into school. So again, like every step of the way, academics are important.
Wow. Wow. It's all about academics, man. If you knock it out the park with your academics, everything else is, will fall right in line.
I agree.
And you mentioned too, Khan Academy, Coach. Like, I never heard of Khan Academy until my kids were, in school and things like that. And I'm like, Khan Academy. And so I actually took, and parents can actually log on too.
Right.
Parents can actually have a profile on Khan Academy, and you can set it up to the point where it'll notify you and keep you updated on your kids on where they are with, and if they actually do practice it or whatnot, they'll send those results to you.
Yep.
And so which is huge. And but Khan Academy, I can't say it enough. Take advantage of Khan Academy, guys, because that is an awesome tool. It's actually giving you and putting you in the real situation of the actual standardized test. It doesn't get any better than that. And if you're in a good spot with your results from the practice test on Khan Academy, you're gonna do extremely well on the actual test.
What we were told by Khan Academy as counselors is if kids will invest 20 hours, okay, let's say that's 2 hours a week for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Leading up to the test.
Yeah.
On average, they will go up 100 points on the SAT.
Yeah. Wow.
And you know what? If you get $1,000 extra academically, so I mean, we're not just talking about trying to be eligible. We're also talking, like you said, about the kids who are higher up there. Well, if you got to have a $1,200 to get $5,000 a year per year for 4 years, and you have an $1,100, 20 hours just got you 100 more points and got you, $1,000 more a year for 4 years. So, I mean, like I always try to tell kids, like, I think it's great if you work and things like that, but you can make more money if you have great grades and spend your time on that, and you will get more money towards college than any like high school teenage kid job is ever going to pay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get $5,000 a year for 4 years, that's $20,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You know what, Coach? This is golden information, and we really appreciate everything that you do, man. The things that you do on and off the field, the grind is just extremely, real, and the mentorship that you guys provide to the kids as well is huge. But in fact, though, I got a few guys that want to say what's up to you real quick.
What's up, boys? You guys are muted. I can't hear you.
Hey, what up? What's good, Coach?
How you doing? Harris Brothers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are you guys? Look at you guys. Look at Myron. You look like a professor, man.
Hey, don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you, man.
Well, and you know what? You're a prime example of a guy who, got better and better every single year academically. And you worked at it, and you had a good first semester of college, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you had to learn how to study. You had to learn how to study, and I think that's tough. I think that's tough for middle school kids. A lot of middle school students, you guys don't really have homework, right? You just take care of it in school. And now all of a sudden you go to high school and you don't really know how to study. You don't know how to study. And I think that's a huge piece. And once you learn that, and if you're willing to put in the time and effort, you can. Miles, you were kind of always the 3.0, good student, B student. But so how would you say high school prepared you guys academically for college?
You want to add that? Because to me, it's longer than you. I was I say high school gave me the foundation that I needed to be able to have the basic things necessary to survive, in college. As far as writing papers, citations, writing what was it?
MLA format.
Not even
LA.
APA format.
APA,
yeah, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? The structure, a bit of everything. So that's why I say how it, compared me.
I mean, along with that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it helped me develop good study habits. Not like as far as like using note cards, writing down notes, like thoroughly watching the lectures and stuff. So yeah, like I guess it helped me really along with what Myron said, it just helped me like develop better study habits along with taking notes. Like as far as you know what I'm saying, having any skills necessary to be successful in college.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And sometimes people lose sight of that in high school. They think, it's just to get through or it's just to get a certain GPA, but like really it's to learn those skills to help you be successful after high school. And then college is going to do the same thing for you guys. You got to learn those skills. And then wherever you go and you get that great job, they're going to train you, but you have to be trainable. And the only way you're trainable is if you have that foundation that you guys were talking about.
Right. No, I agree, 100%.
Yes, sir.
So how has the the college transformation been in regards to from an academic standpoint? How has that been, guys? Has it been challenging? Has it been easy?
Well, to some who really know me, it may not sound believable, but it's actually pretty easy.
What?
Yeah, I find it very easy to stay on top of more structure, stay on top of my stuff, want to actually learn the stuff and do good in the stuff. You know what I mean? Like in high school, I had a 2.3, I think. Had a 2.3 or a low 2.3, and I have a 3.5 now. And I think the transition was I think transition was very easy, to be honest. If I'm keeping it 100.
Well, for me, my first semester, even though I finished out with a 3.3, but my first semester was pretty tough in the beginning because it was learning. I was trying to learn how to fully prioritize, and especially with the workload and stuff. So the workload was a lot. It was a lot, but it took me a minute to catch on to how to fully manage that.
Yeah.
But now I got it, and now I'm basically at a 4.0 right now. So I'm
Well,
good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that you guys have been able to do is time management. Like that's the key of college, right? Like in high school, you don't have a choice. You got 6 classes every single hour, every single day, and it's a grind. And you go to practice, you eat, hopefully you shower, and then you study, you go to bed, and you do it again. In college, you might only have class 2 days a week, 3 days a week. You're not going 6-7 hours straight. So what do you do during that free time, right? You actually have a lot more free time in college. And if you utilize it and you prioritize things like you guys were talking about, I think college is easier than high school because of that. If you apply yourself. Now, where people get in trouble is when they don't take advantage of that free time.
Right.
If they just sleep and they don't use their off days to study for class the next day, now you get yourself in a hole and now you're in trouble. But it sounds like you guys are ahead of the game, pulling a 3.3 and a 3.5. Man, that's awesome.
No, yeah. One of the things that I can say that we both do, but as far as the time management piece, I mean we're practicing and workouts, every day in the wee hours and all that stuff. We do this every week. We get ahead of our work, so some of our classes allow us to work ahead. So we work, as ahead of as far as we can, and stuff like that to turn assignments in early, take tests, exams, all that good stuff. So we work ahead, so that way, whenever we do get that free time, we could either, study the playbook, talk about football, or go to sleep. But we work ahead though, weeks ahead.
Well, I mean, obviously you guys are brothers, but I think surrounding yourself with people who have similar goals is really, really important because imagine if you guys weren't living together and you were living with somebody who wasn't a student athlete and they were going out every night, they were doing whatever they were doing, and they're coming in 2, 3 in the morning, you got to get up and you got to go to football at 5, 6 in the morning. That those are different priorities. So I think we always talk about you want to surround yourself with good people and people that, want to help you achieve your goals. I think you guys have a built-in support system right there. And I think that's super important at the collegiate level when you're away from home.
Right. Well, that's a good thing to do.
I mean, yeah, it's like so far, like besides being around Myron, like also living with Josh. You know what I'm saying? And, no, even though he's a handful, but he has the same goal. I mean, he has the same goal as us, and so you know what I'm saying. Just being around him and just seeing like him work, like also like seeing him and Myron work, just also makes me want to work. Right. And so that's what really what's really been helping me stay on track and what's keep me going really.
Yeah. I think what helped me stay on track is just wanting to separate myself and be different from everybody else. Because, everybody's good enough to make it there, but what can I do individually to make myself stand out and be different? Exactly. I could be sweet. I can be cold, athletic, have all that. But if I ain't got the, like the other, smart. Right, like Coach, like as you used to say, like the other question marks, checked off, you know what I'm saying? If I had those checked off, then I'm golden.
Well, you guys gotta be able to take care of all those millions of dollars that you're gonna earn when you make it to the league. So hey, you either can do it yourself or you got to pay somebody to do it. So you might as well save your own money or have your dad do it, mom and dad do it for
you. No doubt.
Coach, tell them about the jerseys on the back of the wall. They gotta put a couple up back there.
Yeah, so that's
we got you.
The whole thing back there, man. We got down in the corner. We got Sean's jersey. Then I got my 3 other guys over there who play for me at UAD that are all in the league at one time. And then, we got that little state championship little picture up there over there. And then my daughter actually, we put her up on the wall because she won a national championship for soccer one year. So down at IMG. So, yeah, I got plenty of room up there to put a few more jerseys, man. So
we got you.
Coach, we got 3 years. 3 years max.
3-4 years. 3-4 years and we there.
Give us 3-4 years.
Guys, how come you didn't tell me about Coach Merchant's sense of humor? This guy texts me today and says, "Hey, I hope you're ready because I'm gonna be spitting today."
I said I was gonna be spitting fire.
Right, he's gonna be spitting fire.
Hey man, these guys are young. That's why I still do it. I love it. I love seeing young people be successful, and I love what you're doing with your show. There's so much misinformation out there, and you've gone through it with your boys. And anything I can ever do on my end to try to help kids, not only from Chippewa but from anywhere, any family. That's what it's about, right? Like we all want the same thing. We all want to see our kids be successful and healthy and if I can ever, I've helped kids from Dakota with stuff with the NCAA, or I've helped, families from other schools because, it's really about a village, right? Like we're a community. We want to help one another be successful. It shouldn't be like I gotta take care of my own because then if that will take away from my others, and I'm not about that. So
yeah. Coach, do you really look at this as more than just like your job? Do you look at this like this is your purpose, like this is your like your gift, like how do you view this?
Well, it's my passion. Like I've learned. You mentioned all the degrees that I got, which basically that just tells you I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing. So I spent a lot of money going to school. But I believe in education, and the football field and my teammates and my players and my coaches and I have learned more from the game of football. I use more from what I've learned as a player and a coach, every day of my life than any class I ever took. And that's, I have 2 master's degrees. Not that, I didn't learn things from that. I don't want to say that, but like learning how to deal with different people, learning how to get your butt kicked, get up off the ground, learning about discipline, learning about being part of a team, something bigger than yourself, learning to be loyal, a great teammate. All those things, those are things you use every day at work.
Right.
And, you know, I love the game of football. I think it's the best sport in the world. And that's my classroom, you know, like that's my way of giving back to the game that's given so much to me. My best friends, you know, like amazing memories. So like I just want to share that with as many kids as I can and help them hopefully have, you know, a similar experience that I've had in my life.
Well, thank you, Coach. You know, those are definitely heartfelt words. And like I said before, Coach, I personally appreciate you and for what you've done for me and my family. And I'm probably can speak for a lot of the other parents as well. You do a fantastic job, you know, from, you know, the counselor standpoint, and then also too, from the athletic standpoint, you know, you're second to none, you and your team. So we definitely appreciate you guys. And, you know, yes, sir. And we're going to continue to support. But thanks for taking time out to come on to the show tonight, Coach, and share as much information as possible. I really appreciate it because you dropped some major nuggets, and we definitely appreciate your time. And hopefully we can get you back on again, Coach.
Absolutely. And if anybody out there ever wants to contact me at school, hit me up on my email or call my office. I'll be happy to share, you know, any information I have with anybody. And thank you for allowing me to coach your boys. You know, like that's the greatest honor a coach can have is for a parent to allow us to work with their children. So I love you too. I miss you too.
Miss you too, Coach. You too, Coach.
Well, I can't wait to see you guys play some football, man. It's been too long.
Yes, sir.
All right. God bless. Take care.
Thanks, Coach. All right, fellas. Anything else y'all want to say?
Just honestly, just stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's what's up. All right. Hey guys, thanks for staying on with us tonight. It was an amazing show. But listen, before I let you go, just right off I saw this article and it was just crazy. It crossed my feed and I really couldn't believe what I was actually seeing. And but I don't know if you guys got a chance to see this, but it says Carmelo Anthony invest in a startup league that pays high school players. Are you kidding me? Carmelo Anthony is investing in the future of basketball. The Trailblazers forward recently became an investor in the Overtime Elite League, which offers 30 athletes as young as 16 years old the opportunity to earn a minimum of $100,000 per year, as well as shares in the company business. Now, and I'm going to skip down a little bit. And it also says this: the business venture competes with the NCAA rules on amateurism, which doesn't allow college players to receive compensation for their player beyond scholarship for attendance. Listen, guys, it's getting serious. It's really, really getting serious. These the guys at the top, the professional athletes that have made it, they're looking back and they're really taking a look at things, and they're looking to and they're really trying to make a difference because they understand that the NCAA is really, really it's a lot of things that are turning a lot of heads, and it's really not looking too good for the NCAA. And you got a lot of of the major players coming out of high school skipping over going to college and still managing to get to the league because they don't want to waste any time, and then also too and waste their wait and put it in and possibly have an injury because they went and played at a college, and then now it slows things down for them from a professional standpoint. But I'm telling you right now, these professional athletes are making a difference. I told you, LeBron James co-produced, or actually one of the producers for one of the documentaries in regards to athletes in the NCAA and how they're not allowing athletes to get money and things like that, and what an actual college athlete has to go through. And so it is very, very It is very, very difficult, but they're trying to make change in any way, shape, or form. And this is probably a step in the right direction. And I can imagine other athletes are probably going to, do the same. And they're going to probably try to provide an avenue for high schoolers to avoid having to go to college, because it's just not a fair situation at the NCAA level. If they're putting, money in the seats and, selling jerseys and video games and all this stuff, and kids are not, kids are not able to get a piece of the pie. It's just mind blowing. But they are making changes, and all we have to do is sit back and watch, and we're going to continue to see more and more things like that. We understand what Dwayne Johnson did. He brought the XFL and, working on things with that. So it's a lot of stuff that's happening. So, and these are good things, because, it's always someone, is always sitting, looking to make a change, and thinking about the whole process, and thinking about others, and thinking about your children in mind. So this is good information. But listen, once again, thank you so much for making tonight what it was. It was action packed with information that was in regards to the academics. And I really appreciate Coach Scott Merchant for taking time out of his busy schedule to share what he shared tonight. But if you got questions and comments, and if you have ideas or topics that you want us to cover, make sure that you comment and you get in contact with me on one of my social media outlets. You know how to reach me. But until then, next week, you don't want to miss next week, because I got a guy that's he's in the physical therapy industry. And in fact, he has his own practice, and he's going to come and he's going to talk about the importance of taking care of your body. And he's going to talk about avoiding injuries, and he's going to talk about injuries and possibly much, much more. I mean, this guy, my kids, when they got injured, they were a part of his practice, and he does a fantastic job, and he definitely knows what he's talking about. So make sure that you tap in on next Thursday and be ready to listen up, because this guy is coming, and he's going to drop some more nuggets in regards to taking care of the body. Because guess what? You could be sweet, but if you don't take care of your body, guess what? It's going to break down on you. But take LeBron James for an example. The guy put so much money into his body, and and here he is, probably one of the older guys in the league, and he's looking great. And so it's because he take care of his body. So we're going to talk a little bit about that on next week. So make sure that you stay tapped in. Listen, have a great weekend and be safe. There you have it, folks. Another great recruiting session in the books. Definitely there were some huge nuggets that were dropped, and hopefully you're walking away with something tangible. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we post new information. And also, too, if you want to support the channel financially, be sure to send all donations to $SportsDad CEPH, and that's also on my YouTube platform as well. Make sure that you stay tapped in. And until next time, I'm out.